A very warm welcome to our YouTube channel. I really hope that you guys are doing well. Now, today's topic of discussion is going to be really interesting because we are going to discuss some of the prominent social reformers and the work that has been done by them. So, when we talk about prominent social reformers, obviously we have to start with Raja Ram Mohan Roy because he was the one who actually got sati abolished, alright. So, he worked for the abolition of sati. Now, whatever the important contributions are, I'm underlining them, so please pay attention. And he was a pioneer in this cause. No one has really discussed this or the abolition of sati before Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So, he was supposed to be the pioneer or the one who started with this movement. He wrote of women who were forced upon the pyre and bound with ropes so that they would perish with their husbands. So, he brought this aspect to light, that how women were being treated. Now, the next person that we have here is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So, he was another reformer from Bengal who championed female education. So, what was he working for? He was working for female education. He was also an impassioned person, an impassioned supporter of widow remarriage, and he was vehemently opposing polygamy. So, he was completely against men having more than one wife, and he wanted to promote widow remarriage. He urged the Britishers to pass a legislation enabling the widows, or the Hindu widows particularly, to remarry and prohibiting polygamy. Now, he submitted petitions to this effect to the Indian Legislative Council and the British government, and his efforts finally led to the passing of the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act in 1856. So, this law was finally passed, which stated that Hindu widow women could remarry. Even if it was against the religious laws, it was in favor of the constitutional law. Now, to promote female education, he had opened several schools for girls in Bengal and was closely associated with the Hindu Kanya Vidyalaya founded by J.E.D. Bethune. So, he is someone who has worked for women's education, getting the Hindu widowed women the rights to remarry, and he has also worked for what? He has also worked against the system of polygamy. Okay. The next person that we have is Mahadev Govind Ranade. So, 1869, Ranade had joined the Widow Remarriage Association and encouraged widow remarriage and female education, and he was opposed to child marriage. So, what was he working for? He was working for widow remarriage, alright. He was working for female education, and he was opposed to child marriage. And he has also founded the National Social Conference, where discussions regarding these issues have taken place. Next, we have Pandita Ramabai. So, she was a remarkable pioneer in women's education. So, please notice her, please focus on whatever she has achieved and whatever her agenda was, and that was women's education. And she was a rebel champion of women's rights conference. So, she has actually held a conference where women's rights would be discussed, alright. Now, she founded the Sharda Sadan, which was a school for widows in Bombay, and at Mukti, which is near Pune. So, Sharda Sadan is at two locations. One is at Bombay, fine, and the other one is at Mukti, which is near Pune. And what was her main agenda here? Her main agenda was to educate the widows, because the widows would sometimes, willingly jump into the funeral pyre of their husbands just because they had no other means. If they stayed with their in-laws, their life is going to be miserable. If they went to the widow ashrams, their life would be miserable, right? So it was important. They had no other choice but to jump into the funeral pyre of their husbands. And that is why Pandita Ramabai focused on the education of widows, because then it would give them some kind of vocational education to at least that they will be able to look after themselves. Now, her greatest legacy was her effort to educate the widows. Swami Vivekananda, he argued that women could become powerful regenerative force. So Swami Vivekananda's contribution was more towards religious rehabilitation, you can say, or religious reformation, you can say, right? Next is Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He was the founder of the Arya Samaj, and what was he encouraging? He was encouraging female education, widow remarriage, fine, and he condemned all of those customs which he regarded as degrading to women, which he regarded as customs which are really pulling down the women of our society, like child marriage, dowry, polygamy, etc. So he was completely against these practices and he was working against these practices. The next person that we have is Rai Salig Ram, also known as Huzur Maharaj, please remember the name, of Radha Swami sect. He advocated for female emancipation in his work Prem Patra. So when he is talking about female emancipation, he is talking about emancipation all around the female force. So he is talking about ending all the social evils, child marriage, sati pratha, parda system, all the social evils which were there regarding women. The next person is Behramji Malabari. He was a Parsi social reformer and he captured the attention of the British people with his articles in the Times London on the evils of child marriage and the tragedy of enforced widowhood on young women. So that is a known fact to us now. But for a lot of people who married their children, especially girls at a young age, they did not understand the fact that these are small girls who do not understand what marriage is. First of all, they don't understand what marriage is and they are married to men who are maybe double and triple their ages. And sometimes when the husband dies, these young little girls who don't even understand marriage, they have to understand widowhood. So now that is something that he was writing against, and now it is something that we all understand and it is very obvious. But at that point of time, when someone pointed this out, it would have been a eureka movement for a lot of people because they would have finally understood what child marriage does to young girls. Fine. Lastly, we have Dhondo Keshav Karve. He was the greatest champion of the cause of women's emancipation. He encouraged widow remarriage, alright, and he founded a female school and widow homes in Pune. He also founded the first Indian Women's University in 1916. So, he was obviously focusing on women's emancipation. So, when he's talking about emancipation, he is talking about all-round emancipation. So, he was talking about all the social evils that should be stopped so that women can actually gain some freedom. Now, his greatest achievement or his greatest contribution lies in the fact that he has opened widow homes in Pune, which gave the Hindu widows a place, a sacred place, a safe space for them where they could grow, they could nurture, they could learn. They were away from the harms of their in-laws. They were away from the harms of the society. And most importantly, they were away from all the evils that would, creep into their lives just because they have become a widow. Okay, and I think this is his best contribution, is that he opened the first Indian women's university in 1916. So that's about the video, guys. We have discussed some of the most important reformers and the contributions that they have made, particularly in the field of women. We have a number of reformers who have made their contribution in the field of caste distinctions as well, and that is something that we will also discuss, but that will be for the next video. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, you have understood this video. I have underlined all the important points that you must remember. You must remember the contributions that each of these reformers have made. If you still have any doubts and difficulties, please feel free to contact me. Please feel free to address them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to address it and to help you out with it. So this is me, Nicky Sinha, signing off. Please take care. Thank you.